Hello, everyone. Thank you all for being here. I'm Vijoy, and I lead Outshift, Cisco's internal incubation engine. Now, innovation is not magic, it's methodology. And after spending 20 years building and scaling tech at IBM, Google, and now at Cisco, I've learned that the secret to emerging tech and innovation in large organizations is building a systematic approach. And we believe we've cracked the code for exactly that here at Cisco. So let's dive in. So let's say you're a large organization, and there is an emerging tech trend taking shape. You're at the starting line, and you want to enter into that emerging tech space as a big business. Now, your current portfolio, even though it requires incredible innovation just to stay relevant, will not get you there. So what do? You have three options: acquire what's mature, partner to expand, and incubate what's emerging. Every large organization faces this dilemma and this decision point when they try to enter a new emerging tech space. Which one of these to pick? Acquire, partner, or incubate? And typically, you end up picking the safest route, acquisition. But in emerging tech, the safest route might actually be the riskiest. The key is in figuring out which option to pick when. So let's dive into each one of these options. First one is acquire what's mature. This is the highest cost option when it comes to money and a medium cost option when it comes to time. But what it does give you, it gives you immediate revenue and it gives you full control. But the fact that you're getting immediate revenue implies by definition that you're not entering that emerging tech space. It might be a stepping stone towards that, but you're going to spend additional dollars and time and effort to actually get there into that emerging tech space. The second option is partner to expand. This is the lowest cost option, both time-wise as well as money-wise. But what it does not give you is mindshare and credibility. Those belong to the partner. It does not give you control. It takes constant care and feeding to keep that relationship alive. But it's a great way to dip your toe and explore. And it's a great option if you want to get into an emerging tech space that is a few degrees away from your core strengths as a corporation, as a business. It gets us to incubation. This is the Goldilocks zone. It's reasonable time, it's reasonable effort and money, but it gives you full control. And since you're there right from the beginning, it gives you credibility, mindshare, and learnings. Plus, the fact that you're building internally, you're already integrated with the processes, you're part of the portfolio, which will help you scale faster. So let's dive in and figure out how we pick the problems within this space of incubation. Now, all of you might be familiar with the three-horizon model that is based on time that McKinsey put forward, where Horizon 1 problems and innovations happen here and now. Horizon 2 problems are 6 to 18 months out, and Horizon 3 problems are 18 plus months out. The problem is that time does not define innovation horizons anymore. Risk does. In this tech landscape, transformations happen overnight. So in this rapid product development lifecycle, how do you pick which horizon to work on? How do you pick where to place your bets? So what we've done is we've taken the same three horizons, 1, 2, and 3, and mapped it to risk. Horizon 3 problems are early tech problems. There's technology risk involved. So this is where you're unsure whether the tech will actually work. There's incredible promise behind the tech, but we're still proving it out. Quantum computing is something that I would put in this bucket, where every sign points to quantum computing becoming the next big step function change for all of computing, but it's not there yet. The second horizon, Horizon 2, is all about market risk. This is where you know that the technology actually works. It's been proven to work in a few use cases, but it's not wide enough. So we need to figure out whether there are all kinds of use cases, the market is large enough. The pain points are something that customers are willing to pay for them to be solved through this tech. And more importantly, the market itself is stable. It's not pivoting every few quarters or every few years. Because that's what you need for you to get into that space as a large organization. I would put agentic AI and agentic computation in this bucket. Because even though the technology works, we've proven it out for a few use cases, the large applicability is still a promise. And we're figuring out what that means. Plus, that market is evolving so rapidly, it's not stable enough. What is true today may not be true in 6 months from now. So that's early market and market risk. Finally, early platforms and platform risk. This is especially applicable for large organizations like us, like Cisco, where we cannot fight point battles across a wide surface area. We need to have that platform advantage. So we need to build platforms that tackle problems across a wide swath of problem areas within an enterprise. And if we are not doing that well, if you're not building the right platforms, we have platform risk. That's Horizon 1. As Outshift, we primarily operate in the early tech space and the early market space, which is Horizon 3 and Horizon 2. But rarely but surely, we do build tech out for Horizon 1 problems, but they need to be integrated into the platforms that Cisco is building. So that leads us to our charter. Our charter is to incubate from idea to market reality. And we've been structured that way. We've been structured both in people, skills, and processes to take something from idea to market reality. But the key thing here to note is that you cannot measure innovation through revenue metrics or performance metrics. You need to measure incubation and innovation through power metrics, which are customer adoption and product usage. And that's what we always keep in mind when we're building something out. So what does the algorithm look like? What does the scaffold look like that we use to operate on a day-to-day basis? And the key principle that we have behind this innovation algorithm is build the right it before you build it the right way. And the 5 phases that we use to take a product to market reality is through ideate, build, launch, land, and scale. Ideate is where you plant the vision, where you define what you want to go after. Then you get into build, where you are building demos and prototypes till you get to the launch phase, which is where you have a minimal viable product or an MVP. But the key thing there at the launch phase is to get a small set of customers and product users that are believers, both in your vision as well as in your product. And they're willing to be champions for that product as well as that vision. From then on, it's all about product market fit, which is you're going after the power metrics, getting to wide adoption, customer traction. And eventually, you get to scale where you leverage the strengths of Cisco and you actually go after revenue metrics. As you go from left to right, there are a few things to keep in mind. First and foremost, there are 3 KPIs that we are paranoid about in keeping track. One is product technology fit, or PTF. As an incubator, you want to make sure that you're true to your vision and your charter, which is making sure that you're building products in emerging tech. As you start moving from left to right, it's very easy to sway away from that and start looking at business metrics. You need to pull yourself back and ensure that you're looking at emerging tech and stay focused on that. So that's PTF, product tech fit. The second one is about product market fit. And for us, again, it's all about power metrics, making sure that you're getting the right adoption and product usage, because that's something that a large organization can take and run with. And finally, product company fit, or PCF, is ensuring that you're leveraging the scale of the large organization that you're part of. In our case, we're leveraging the scale of Cisco to help scale faster and better. So those 3 things we always need to keep in mind as we move from left to right. The second thing is, what kinds of decisions do we make? The first decision is, of course, moving from phase one to the other phase. And that could be done in a product as is, or through pivots and changes on that product as you go from left to right. The second decision is there are lots of ideas that come in. So not all of them will go towards the right-hand side. What do we do with them? We do not kill a product or an idea or a venture ever. What we do is archive it, put it in the library. Because what we've seen time and again is that we go back to the library, we take that book out because there are learnings in that library that are relevant again and again and again. And we use those learnings in new ventures, or we might go to the same venture in a different way sometime in the future. The third thing to note here is, like any other incubator, this funnel is pretty steep. So we've gone from more than 400 ideas in the ideate phase over a 4-year existence to 2 landings so far. And that is natural because we are supposed to fail more by definition than succeed. And that's okay, because that's our job. And so the 2 successes that we've had are in the space of Panoptica, which is cloud application security, and Motific, which is generative AI. Now, the details behind both of these products is not important. What's important is Panoptica was in the space of cloud application security, which 4 years ago, when we started out, cloud application security was the emerging tech space that was relevant, and Cisco needed to get into that space. Motific, again, we launched it last year here at Cisco Live. It was in the generative AI space. And deploying and managing generative AI applications was and still is a challenge for large organizations. So both of these spaces are in the emerging tech space. So they have product tech fit. The second thing to note here is product market fit. As you can see, Panoptica actually scanned and secured more than 80 million cloud assets within the first 3 months of its existence. Now that is product market fit because it's being deployed in production at some of our largest customers across a wide number of customers, which leads me to the number 3 metric here, which is product company fit. How did we get to 200 plus logos within the first 10 months? It's really difficult for a startup to do that, but we leverage the strength of Cisco to help us get there, to scale out. So that is product company fit. Finally, we are an organization that takes everything from an idea to market reality. And as part of that, we not only innovate on the technology side, but also on the go-to-market side. So we've leveraged the strength, the enterprise sales motion strength of Cisco, but we've also introduced product-led growth and product-led adoption as 2 other vehicles to make sure that we are scaling out when we try to hit our customer adoption metrics. Now, not everything has been rosy. We've had many, many learnings along the way. And success teaches you what works, failure teaches you why. And so I'm picking 3 learnings here, which can all be sort of classified under the umbrella of product company fit, because these 3 learnings are different for an internal incubator as compared to an external startup. So the first one is horizontal versus vertical. As a startup, I could build a company, a startup, within any vertical, fintech, healthcare, retail, manufacturing, and be really successful at it. Cisco is not a vertical solution player. We build platforms that are horizontal platforms that can support any and all verticals. So while you're working with customers, while you're building that piece of tech and that product as an incubator, you need to ensure that you're building horizontal products. And if you see success in one area, let's say manufacturing, pull back and go after other verticals as well, because that's what you're supposed to do. So that's the first one. Wide adoption, going back to our power metrics and how we are measured. Again, as a startup, if I had 10 customers with $1 million of ARR each within the first 10 months, boy, I would be a unicorn, or maybe more. Inside Cisco, we're going after wide adoption. So I would rather have 100 customers with 100K of ARR each, or even lower, because we don't measure innovation with revenue, we are going after wide adoption, because that's something that an organization like Cisco can take and run and expand and scale out. Which leads me to the third one, Cisco Scale. As a startup, I would kill to work with a company like Cisco and leverage its strength and scale. So it'll be stupid for an internal incubator not to do that. So while we are going through that 5-phase innovation engine, we are constantly working with the BU and the portfolio. We're constantly working with the marketing organization of Cisco and the sales organization to ensure that while we get to the land phase, the organization as a whole is ready to take that and run with it. So that's our algorithm, that's our KPIs, some of the products that we've looked at, the frameworks that we use, and the lessons learned. Where are we going next? How are we taking all of these learnings to build something that is brand new and bold? So we believe we are working on our boldest vision yet. And that's a big, hairy, audacious goal. So our BHAG is completely aligned to the product company fit aspect that we've talked about earlier. When you think about Cisco, what do you think about? Well, let me answer that. You think about a company that helped create the original internet almost 40 years ago. What we want to do is we want to take assets that are appearing online, that are materializing, and we are really good at building the infrastructure to securely connect those assets. And the next set of assets, the next frontier here, is AI agents. So AI agents are going to appear and are already appearing and are going to disrupt all of human work. So what is that platform that is going to allow AI agents to come together, to collaborate, and help solve for human work? And that's what we want to do. We want to empower Cisco to drive the Internet of Agents evolution. What is the Internet of Agents? The Internet of Agents is an open, interoperable internet that allows for quantum-safe agent-to-agent collaboration. Every word and every phrase in this statement has been carefully picked. So let me go after each one of them. Open and interoperable. Why? Because open systems are the only systems that drive maximal value for every player in that ecosystem, whether it's infrastructure vendors, whether it's operators, application developers, or most importantly, customers and consumers. Agent-to-agent collaboration. Like I said, agents are here to disrupt all of human work, but they don't behave in a traditional software sense. They're very different beasts. So how do we build a platform that brings together these different beasts and these different asset classes to come together and collaborate? And I'm going to talk about that quite a bit in the next few slides. And then quantum safe. You're building the next-gen internet. You're not going to build the next-gen internet with old security in mind. You need to ensure that whatever you build is future-proof when it comes to security, when, not if, quantum computers come online and sit on this new platform. So that's something that we want to ensure right from the get-go. So before we get into what that translates to in terms of requirements, let's take a little bit of a history lesson. And why do we need the Internet of Agents in the first place? So we've been working on this emerging tech for a while now. The emerging tech around transformers and foundation models. It's been happening since the 1960s when neural networks were invented, then 2017 when transformers happened, and then 2022 when we had the ChatGPT moment. We took that piece of tech, and we are right now in the process of building simple AI assistants and simple AI agents. In computing paradigms, this is the equivalent of building scale-up systems, large monolithic systems. That's where we are. Now we all know that scale-up systems, well, they do not scale. So what's coming next? We know what's coming next. Scale-out systems, where we take these systems and we break it apart, especially within an organization, and we connect them so that they scale out better. And then internet scale, where you take all of these pieces of tech across vendors, across organizations, connect them together across internet, and enable internet scale computing. We know those things are coming, and in the case of agentic computing, what that translates to is ensembles of agents coming together to help solve a problem for you. And these ensembles will contain best-of-breed agents that are suited for any particular task. Think of it as subject matter experts that come together as a team to solve a problem. By definition, the best-of-breed agents are going to come from different vendors. By definition, these agents would have used different development paradigms and methodologies. They might have different contexts. They might speak different languages. They might have different access controls. They might belong to different organizations. They might take on different personas and profiles based on the task that they are performing. The analogy that I draw here is, let's say you're trying to build a movie. You will have a director and a bunch of actors and a stage designer, a costume designer, a music director. All of these people, the subject matter experts, coming together to actually build a movie. All of those SMEs belong to different organizations. They speak different languages. All of these problems that you see here exist in that example. And they need a platform to come together and collaborate. And that's the platform that we're trying to build. So just like the original internet actually brought together servers and VMs to enable e-commerce at global scale, and then just like cloud internet brought together SaaS endpoints and cloud endpoints together to enable applications and social circles at scale, at global scale, we need a new internet that connects AI agents together to accelerate all of human work at global scale. And these AI agents, these agentic pieces of software, will come in various shapes and forms. They will be a part of business applications, SaaS applications. They will be a part of consumer applications on your phone, for example. They will exist as scientific applications for drug discovery or material discovery. They will be as part of avatars in social circles, where you interact with them day in and day out. Or they will become part of embodied agents in physical form as robots to help you solve for physical work. And there is going to be interaction across all of these agentic pieces of software, and they will need a platform to make that happen. So what's unique? Why do we even care? Why should we build this in a separate and a unique way? Why can't we leverage what exists? So first and foremost, all of these disparate sets of agents that you see in physical form, business form, consumer form, scientific form, etc., they need to be discovered. You need to figure out which ones of these are best of breed so that they can come in and solve that problem for you. Going back to that movie-making example, how do you discover talent? In the same way, how do you discover agents? Once you've discovered them, are they reputable? Are they authenticated? How can I connect them so that they can actually start collaborating? And once you connect them, the collaboration challenges are, again, net new and very unique. Agentic software is so very different from traditional pieces of software. First and foremost, your traditional piece of software is deterministic in nature, both in intent and input, as well as outcomes. Agentic software is non-deterministic in nature, both in intent as well as in outcomes. Find me the best X is an intent that you can enable an agentic software to go after and look for. What is best? It's a very ambiguous KPI. The outcome that you get back is also, here's the best X with 90% confidence. It's very probabilistic in nature. How do you build a collaboration platform that handles this ambiguity? That's challenge one. Challenge two is ensuring that the state exchanges that these agents that are going to do is handled in an efficient manner. Because the state exchanges are going to be massive. They're going to be multimodal. They're going to contain text and code, but also audio and video and images. How do you build a platform to handle these things efficiently? Finally, evaluating and ensuring that a singular agent does its job properly is hard enough. How do you ensure that there is assurance across an ensemble of these agents that are going to perform these tasks for you? And so agent assurance, agent-to-agent communication assurance is the other big problem. Open and interoperable, we've already talked about, where any agent developer should be able to advertise their agents, and any agent consumer should be able to pick the best of breed that they want. And like I said, it needs to have quantum safe security, because believe me, the security migration towards quantum safety today in the traditional internet is a decades-long migration problem. And you're going to build a new internet for agents. Let's make sure that's quantum safe right from the get-go. Which leads me to the last slide and the other big bet that Outshift is working on. And that is in the space of quantum computing. I'm a firm believer that there is going to be a ChatGPT moment in quantum computing pretty soon. Maybe not in the next year, but definitely not in the 15, 20 that you've heard other people say. There's going to be a 3 to 5 year problem. And when that happens, when that ChatGPT moment happens in quantum computing, it's going to be really difficult for companies and organizations to catch up. Because unlike traditional software, where it's just simply a matter of software, in this case, there's going to be a change at the bit level. Because you're going from bits to qubits and quantum bits, and catching up means rebuilding the entire stack. So what we want to ensure that Cisco is looking at quantum networking and quantum security when that quantum computing becomes a reality. And we are in the business of connecting these quantum nodes together, but also bridging between quantum computing clusters and classical computers, because both of those paradigms are going to coexist forever. So let's wrap up. What have we learned through this presentation? First and foremost, to get into a business which is based on emerging tech, an organization has 3 options, with incubation being one of them, the other 2 being partner to expand or acquiring what's mature. We've talked about an innovation algorithm which is based on the 5 phases of ideate, build, launch, land, and scale. And we've also looked at a 3-horizon framework tailor-built for this new world of rapid product development, where there's early tech, early market, and then early platform. And then finally, for an internal incubator, yes, you can concentrate on product tech fit, you can concentrate on product market fit, but the key metric to look at as an internal incubator is to ensure that you leverage the strengths of the larger organization and you focus on product company fit. Finally, we've built an internet to connect computers and servers. We then leveraged it to connect applications and social circles. We now need to build the internet that connects AI agents. So we need to go after the Internet of Agents. If you want to learn a lot more about how we operate and what our innovation algorithm is, or you want to participate in building out this open, interoperable Internet of Agents, point your camera to that QR code, come and talk to us, and I'll be around as well, and we can chat later. Thank you.